What's up everyone? Today we're diving into exactly what the difference is between Apple Home, HomeKit, and Matter. And if this is confusing for you, it's not your fault, because Apple quietly changed the name of its smart home platform behind the scenes. What we used to call HomeKit is now officially switched over to Apple Home. And what's this Matter thing? I'll explain this all in this video, and you'll have a clear understanding of what these terms actually mean and how it affects your smart home. Stay tuned. Let's start at the beginning. HomeKit was Apple's original smart home platform. And when I say it was, I mean Apple officially retired HomeKit in February of 2026. But it's still worth understanding because it set the foundation for everything that came after. So HomeKit launched back in 2014, and Apple's idea was simple. They wanted to make the ultimate smart home standard. And they had a certification standard that ruled that. All devices had to be approved by Apple and made sure that they followed strict protocol standards. By having these certain standards in place, if manufacturers wanted their products to work with iPhones and Siri, things like light bulbs, smart locks, and thermostats, they had to follow Apple's protocol. And the experience was genuinely great. All you had to do was open the Home app on your iPhone, and there's all your devices. Tap a light, and it just worked. Siri could control it. You could set automations and scenes, and your Apple TV or HomePod was all you needed to act as your hub. But there was a problem. HomeKit was Apple only, and Apple made it really hard for device manufacturers to go ahead and get certified in their platform. The process was expensive and slow. So the selection of HomeKit devices was always much smaller than the other competitors like Amazon or Google. And if your partner had an Android phone, good luck. If you bought a smart home device on sale and it didn't have the HomeKit badge, you're out of luck. It's not gonna work. It wasn't gonna work in your setup because it wasn't certified by Apple. And that was HomeKit's fundamental flaw. It was great inside the Apple walled garden, and everything else completely sucked. Section 2, what is Apple Home? So Apple fixed it, just sort of. Apple Home is what replaced HomeKit. It's the platform, it's the app, it's the ecosystem that you're using today when you set up smart devices on your iPhone. Think of it as HomeKit 2.0. The more elaborate, more advanced version of HomeKit. The Home app has been around since 2016, but in 2022, Apple started redeveloping it from the ground up. They completely changed the architecture in which HomeKit was built upon. The goal was to fix the scalability problems, because as people added more and more devices to their home, the old HomeKit system started getting slow and outdated. More importantly, Apple now has full support for Matter, which I'll explain in just a second, meaning it can work with a much wider range of devices from way more manufacturers. What stayed the same? The things that Apple does best stayed the same, and that's privacy and security. Apple Home still uses local processing, meaning your devices can talk to one another inside your house rather than routing everything through the cloud server. Your data stays yours, and that's a genuine competitive advantage over other platforms. What's new? Things like AI-driven automations that learn your routines, smarter presence detection so your home responds when you arrive or leave, and a broader ecosystem of devices than HomeKit ever had before. So here's the simple way to think about it. HomeKit was the old standard, and Apple Home is the new platform that replaced it. The app on your phone is still called Home. Nothing changed there for you, but under the hood, it's been completely modernized. Section 3, what is Matter? Okay, now we get to the part that actually changes everything. Matter. Matter's not an Apple thing. It's not a Google thing. It's not an Amazon thing. It's an everyone thing. And that's exactly the point. Matter is an open, universal smart home standard for smart home devices. It was developed by the Connectivity Standards Alliance, and the founding members include Apple, Google, Amazon, Samsung, and pretty much every major tech company you can think of. Here's the analogy that makes it click. Think of Matter like USB-C. Before USB-C, every laptop had different chargers. Apple used MagSafe, others used their own proprietary connectors. It was all a big mess. Then the industry decided on a single standard, and suddenly one cable works everywhere now. USB-C is the standard. Matter is that standard for the smart home. Before Matter, if you bought a smart plug that worked with Alexa, there was a good chance it wouldn't work with Apple Home or Google Home without some workaround. You had to check compatibility charts. You had to buy specific brands, and it was exhausting. With Matter, a device manufacturer builds their product once, and once it gets Matter certified, it works with all the major smart home platforms, including Apple Home, Google Home, Amazon A, Samsung SmartThings, all right out of the box. This is huge for beginners because it means you don't have to pick a side anymore. How does Matter actually work under the hood? It runs your existing Wi-Fi network or a newer protocol called Thread, a low-power mesh networking standard. Thread is interesting because devices actually talk directly to one another, forming a web of connections, a mesh layer, rather than everything routing through one central router. This makes the whole system faster and more reliable. If you're using Apple Home, your HomePod Mini, or your Apple TV 4K as a Thread border router, basically a translator between all your Thread devices and the rest of your network. Google Nest Hub and Amazon Echo 4th Gen do the same thing on their platforms. What devices support Matter right? As of 2025, over 800 Matter certified products are on the market. We're talking lights, switches, thermostats, door locks, sensors, cameras, robotic vacuums, EV chargers, and even large home appliances like fridges and washing machines. And the list is continuing to grow fast. Here's the practical takeaway for you as a beginner. Buy Matter certified devices whenever possible. Not because it's a buzzword, but it will help you future-proof your smart home. If you ever switch from Apple to Android, your devices are still gonna work. If you want Google Home or Alexa as your backup, they'll work. You own your setup, not a tech company, and you're in control. Section 4, how they all fit together. All right, let's pull all three into one picture. Imagine your smart home as a house. Matter is the building code, the universal rules every device follows so they all play nicely together. Apple Home is the house itself, specifically Apple's version of the house, designed with their priorities including privacy, security, beautiful design, and deep iPhone integration, along with Siri as well. And HomeKit? That's the old version of the house. It's been torn down and replaced with a new one. And if someone mentions HomeKit to you, just understand it's the predecessor, the foundation that Apple Home was built on. The key questions you need to answer for your setup are you all in on Apple? Then Apple Home is your platform. Get a HomePod Mini or an Apple TV 4K as your hub and buy Matter certified devices. Do you have a mix of Apple and non-Apple users in your house? Same answer, Matter certified devices. Everyone can still use what they prefer and everything still works together. Do you have old HomeKit devices already? Good news is that they probably work in Apple Home. The transition from HomeKit to Apple Home allowed backwards compatibility, meaning most devices were already brought into the Apple Home ecosystem. So if you're starting from zero, here's exactly what you should do. Step 1, get a hub. I'd recommend the HomePod Mini. It's about $99 and it does triple duty setup. It's a speaker, a Siri smart home controller, and a Thread border router. A triple threat, if you will. Step 2, buy Matter certified. Look for that Matter certified logo on the box or check the product page. Brands like Eve, Nanoleaf, IKEA all have great Matter options. And big brands like Philips Hue, Aqara, and Maris also have deep Matter integrations as well. Step 3, get comfortable buying some products. Start simple. One smart bulb, one smart plug, and get comfortable with the Home app. Add an automation like turn off all the lights when I leave the home, and then expand from there. The people who get overwhelmed with the smart home are those who try to do everything all from day one. Step 4, don't stress about perfection. The beauty of Matter is that it's all gonna be a journey, and you can change your mind down the road. The ecosystem is flexible now in a way that it never was possible before. So to recap, HomeKit was Apple's original smart home setup, now retired. Apple Home is the new modern ecosystem which replaced HomeKit. Think of it as HomeKit 2.0. And Matter is the industry-wide standard that makes all of these things work together. Across every platform, across every brand, if you have that Matter certified logo, it's gonna work with all smart home ecosystems. If you're starting a smart home in 2026 and you've got an iPhone, the path is clear. Buy a HomePod Mini, buy Matter certified devices, and start your Apple Home ecosystem today. You don't have to be a tech wizard to do this. You just have to know what you're buying and why. If you enjoyed this video, definitely drop me a like. We're posting smart home content here every single week. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.